good? You good?
Maybe. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Vaccines. Now, we've all heard everything. Oh, vaccines cause autism. I'm not going to give my kids a vaccine because I don't want them to get autistic. But now, not true. There are certain opinions people think they do and people think they don't for certain reasons and certain others. But in reality, scientific data says that they don't. The one thing that everyone thinks gives everyone autism is the MMR vaccine, or the measles, mumps, and rubella. That one has been stated since about 1998 when Dr. Andrew Wakefield came out with a paper in a magazine that said he had done a study with 12 different people, and he came to the conclusion that this shot gave children and people of all ages actually autism. Now, that study was only with 12 people, who most of them were already grown adults who probably already had autism, which made 0 sense. But besides the fact, his theories were tested about a month afterwards and found to be completely BS. There was nothing to it, and it was also found that he edited his numbers. And when this happened, right away his license was stripped. There was a letter put out in the same magazine saying that, we're sorry, this is completely incorrect. Please don't listen to anything this guy has to say. He's not allowed to be a doctor ever again. His license was stripped about a month after this thing was published. And everyone thought, okay, that's the end of that. But it didn't stop from there, because people, even since, who weren't even alive back then, now believe what Wakefield said and still think that he caused, or that this shot causes autism. Now, I'm not here to tell you that it does or doesn't. I'm here to tell you the facts, and the facts do lean towards that autism is not caused by that. There is no known cause of autism yet. But let me ask you all something. Why would you think people will continue to believe this after the article was stripped, his license was stripped, and there have been tons and tons of studies that show he was incorrect?
The same reason why people voted for Trump. Everyone's stupid.
Yep.
Maybe just like word of mouth, like
Exactly.
Cassie said this and that.
Exactly. People think one thing, they hear multiple people say it must be true. No. Just because I say that elephants are purple and my friends say elephants are purple, elephants are not purple. Okay. And I don't have the exact answer as to why people still think this, even though it's been disproven in multiple different studies, which I'm pretty sure I tried to count, and there were at least over 50 that I was able to find, which I only went about halfway through Google Images to try to find the amount of studies, and I came to 50. So, there's a lot. And even more of a reason not to believe this is that there's absolutely no medical evidence whatsoever. They went back over his study. Everything was found to be false. He even edited his numbers. So nothing was true. And another reason I do think that people still believe this, though, is people tend to listen to influential people like celebrities. Now, if you've ever heard of vaccines causing autism, you have to have heard of Jenny McCarthy. My kid got autism from vaccines. No, he did not. Originally, or actually, I'll get back to that in a minute. No, I won't. She says the vaccines caused her child autism, but in reality, he was first diagnosed with epilepsy. And this only came on about 6 months after his first round of shots, which came at about, the first round of shots, where it's a great grouping at one time, is usually about 12 to 18 months is where children are supposed to get them, and that is also when signs of autism do start to show up in children. And that's what I'm going to talk about right now, because when at this age those signs show up, and as well, children are supposed to get shots at 12 months, third dose of hepatitis B, third dose of the hip one, PVC 13, inactivated polio, all these. There's over 6 that a child is supposed to get, and a lot of parents decide to be lazy and get them all in one visit, which drugs your kid out beyond belief. And some parents will come home, oh no, my child's autistic now. No, he's just drugged out. You got all his shots at once, which doctors don't recommend. Now, and that's why a lot of people will think they won't notice the signs of autism beforehand, but after the shots, they'll maybe start noticing things, which is why they think autism is caused by vaccines. No, your kid just got drugged out and then you finally started to notice. Like I had said before though, I had talked about Jenny McCarthy and how she said that vaccines caused her child's autism, and she's an activist on this topic. But she had stated in an interview, not exactly that the vaccines caused her child's autism, but that the amount of vaccines she had her child administered to her child at once caused her child's autism to more spark in reality. And she has changed her wording about 50 different times. She initially had told the interviewer that her son was diagnosed with epilepsy. And from what I had read on this article, it was epilepsy at first. And he had that for about the first 4 years of his life. And then finally around the age of 4, they figured out, oh, he has epilepsy and autism. Not just autism now, because Jenny McCarthy has millions of dollars. She was able to go to amazing neurologists. So she was able to figure out that he has slight autism. He is at the beginning of the spectrum, which ranges a wide area. But yeah, in her case, she was able to find really good doctors, and he was able to find slight things in tests that most average doctors probably wouldn't be able to. And although McCarthy has said that it wasn't exactly the measles, mumps, and rubella shot that gave her child autism, that's all anyone ever hears. Everyone always says that, oh, Jenny McCarthy's kid got autism from shots. No, that's not what she says at all. Now, granted, she has changed her mind in interviews 100 times and has said that at once, but in reality, lately, she has only come up with the facts that it was because her child got them all at once. People still hold on to the fact that she said at one point, maybe over a decade from now, or a decade past from now, she had said that measles, mumps, and rubella, that vaccine gave her child autism, which she says she was false. Now, yet again, I have no answer to this why people believe celebrities, because they don't have medical degrees, so I don't know why they would, but you know. But in reality, vaccines are really good for children. And the thing is, I mean, they're good for people in general. We still get vaccines at our age today. We get flu shots, we're supposed to, I mean. And they're supposed to help us, even though that little piece of inactivated flu, which everyone gets scared about because there's flu in the shot, is there, it's still good to have it. And something like polio that had come up. Polio after the vaccine was introduced, the levels of polio dropped from 85 to 90%. So only about 15 to 10% of children, let alone people in general, ended up contracting polio in their lifetimes. Same thing with mumps. It was nearly wiped off the face of the earth. And one thing that really sparked it was when FDR was inaugurated as a president. And once he was, people started to see it more often, and they started to realize, oh, this is a serious thing. Our president's in a wheelchair because he had polio as a child. And he was supposed to be a strong symbol, but because of this thing that could have been prevented, he was still seen as pretty cool, but I mean, he was seen as slightly weaker. But then, of course, Dr. Jonas Salk found the cure for polio, and ever since then, like I said, it's been nearly wiped off the face of the earth. So vaccines save lives and have caused much, much more good than they have bad. And I hope that can be the best reason for you to think about how vaccines can help people instead of giving them any type of damages. Yeah, your kid will be uncomfortable when you go in. Yeah, a shot hurts when you go in. But I'd rather have my arm sore for a little bit than have to be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life. I don't know about the rest of you guys, but I'd rather my arm be sore than not feel my legs. That came out wrong, but but I hope that's enough information for you guys to be able to protect yourselves, let alone your children in the future, and to be able to get vaccines for yourself to protect you and other people around you. Thank you.
11.